Hello, welcome to Pen and Paper ASMR. Today I wanted to set up more of my bullet journal with you. I set up my future log, I guess is the common or most similar term to what I did last time, where I did the calendars and then a space to write events for different days of the month. And so I do it a little bit different than the true original bullet journal method. Like I explained, I don't like to have events that pop up later that I have to write in that makes the dates become out of order. So I did that. That way I can start to write in my calendar events. And then the other thing that I like to do is I like to have a couple central lists at the beginning of my journal before I start my daily planning. This is the list of those things. So it's got a little fuzzy. I like to have a task list, a recurring task list, a personal list, family list, YouTube, blog. This is a vacation. I just don't know if I'm comfortable putting the location out there, so I'm keeping that one hidden. And then a Christmas list. And so tasks are things that might not be dated, or just miscellaneous tasks that I want to do. I don't want to forget, or maybe I just had the idea, but I either haven't gotten that far in my planning, or it's just something I would like to do at some point. Recurring tasks are what they say. They're recurring tasks that happen for me typically monthly. This is like pay. We have a couple credit cards, so I like to pay a bulk of the balance before the statement date to make sure that our usage is lower, and then pay the rest of the statement balance off a couple days afterwards, so we're not paying any interest. So I have pay most of this card and then pay the rest of this card on a recurring basis. This one's typically a table. And then things like I cut my husband's hair, so I cut his hair, and I put just typically once a month, and I put the date that we do it. So things like that. Personal is like personal projects or goals. Like I would like to reorganize my Google Drive, and so that's not pressing, it's not dated, but that's going to be like a personal goal. Family, this is for like watching, like dog sitting for my parents, or this is just doing something with the family. So those are separate to me. Tasks are more like day-to-day items, or more like household items. Personal falls more under my interests, and then family would obviously be something with the family. I like to have a list for YouTube, a list for my blog. Like I said, this one's for a vacation, but I'm not going to share where that is. Just that's vacation. So things like make a packing list, book tickets, plan restaurants, things like that go under there. And then Christmas is things like, make the Christmas budget, bake cookies, the travel dates, things like that. And so I like to have these at the beginning, because that way, as I have time, or as I brainstorm an idea, like I might have a thought of, oh, this would be a great idea for a Christmas gift for this person. I have a designated spot that I can turn back to, that I don't have to flip through, or I don't have to search my phone notes. I know that I wrote it down under Christmas. Same thing with personal. If I see something I'd like to do someday, I just write it under my personal list, and from there, if I have some free time, or I know that I have a free weekend coming up, I can look there and see. Typically I check my recurring tasks every day, and this saves me from having to rewrite them over and over and over. So that's why I do this. I had this in my last journal, and ultimately I'll just be transferring the tasks that I did not complete from that journal into this journal, but I have to set the pages up first. And so, super basic, but I just take my words and I write them in that, well, my best attempt at that, not faux calligraphy, but that, more modern scripty looking font at the top. And then I pick a border. And now I just use Pinterest for my inspiration, and I'll show you. I haven't picked them yet. I don't really do them themed. I just do ones that, number one, I think are cute, and number two, and maybe more important, that I think I can actually execute. So I'll pick those with you as I get there, but I already mapped out how to evenly space these. So I would prefer to have one extra letter to the left than one extra letter to the right when it comes to splitting the words down the middle. So that's what these are for. So I put the little dash of where the middle will fall on the page because there's a dash in my notebook on those days. And then I wrote the number of spaces to count over. So like for tasks, I will start the word 3 boxes over from the middle and then write it. Roughly 1 letter per space works for me. And so I'm going to set these up with you. And I also had already mapped out, this was when I first got this new journal, I mapped out what page was going to be what. This kind of follows my other journal, but I reorganized it so they group together a little better. So tasks and recurring tasks, and then personal and family, and then this is my trip, and this is Christmas. I kind of rearranged these ones, and then after this, at some point, I'll have to make my decorative July page to start. I already started planning on the next pages, but this is kind of not fluff, it's just not necessary to start to plan. So I'm going to start with tasks and recurring tasks. And we're going to use my guides. Just like my other one, I've been liking using my Pentel Energel 0.5. This specific version of this pen I got from a company called Jet Pens online. Jet Pens is the name, and they are online, not Jet Pens online. But it was just a really cute version of the pen, and I've been enjoying it. So we're going to start with tasks. And so I counted 3 of that. So I'll go to the middle, and I'll count 1, 2, 3. And so that's where my T will start. And I'm going to make them about 2 boxes wide. You'll see what, or 2 boxes tall. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So 1, 2, 3. And in no way am I perfect at doing these letters. There are some people who can do these things beautifully. I just enjoy it. Makes it a little more fun to me. Okay, so that's really it. That's what I'm going to be doing. So tasks, like I said, I'd rather have 3 on the left than 3 on the right. You might be the opposite, but this is as close to centered while doing 1 space per letter. And I can bring it up closer too so you can see what I mean. So it is in the middle of 2 tall, but then each letter falls within 1 dot grid space. So that's tasks. Then we move on to recurring tasks. This is the longest one, and the space between the words counts as one of my spaces. So starting 8 spots to the left of middle. So here's middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is really far over. But if you think about it too hard, at least if you're like me, if you think about it too hard while you're doing it, you're going to mess it up. And there's middle, and we're on our G. See, not perfect, but it works. And then this is the space, and so the T is in this box. And then just the word tasks again, which I already did that once, so I'd hope I can do that one again. K's are one of those letters that I'm not very sure the proper way to do it. But there we go. So we have tasks and recurring tasks. Like I said, this will ultimately become a page with a table. Typically it's oriented this way. So I have the tasks written over here, and then, you know, July, August, September, October, so on. We'll turn the page. And up next we have personal and family. And if you didn't notice, I wrote them in the order I'm doing them on the card. So personal is just 4, a little less stressful than 8. So we'll count over 1, 2, 3, 4. Starting with a P is also hard for me because I'm not quite sure the correct way to do some of these letters. But at least I can see that it says personal. Family is even shorter, it's at 3, and this one is actually, personal is as well. Personal was a true half and half, so you have 4 on the left, 4 on the right. Family is 3 and 3 because it has 6 letters. So 1, 2, 3. Gotta make an M fit in a little box. L and a Y. Alright, we're just trucking right along with this. Okay. So we're gonna pretend that I had a sticky here that said YouTube and a sticky here that said blog. And YouTube, I'm gonna write it in all lowercase just for continuity. So I counted 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is one where it's not perfectly symmetrical. And my B's are not, I know that my B's are not correct. Not the biggest fan of that one, but that's okay. Blog is easy. Blog is 2, but it has a B. And again, like I just showed you, B's aren't my best letter. But 1, 2, we're gonna go for it again. And there we have blog. Okay, so these pages might not be used as much as the others, but at least they'll be a nice spot to jot down my ideas. Okay, so trip, we're gonna leave this one how it is because again, the idea of putting things out there on the internet, even if only, 5 people ever watch this, I don't like thinking things like that, especially in my line of work that I'm in. I just am very wary of putting more personal information on. That's why I'm showing you this setup, but I'm not showing you me writing in the content itself. So anyway, we're gonna skip trip. We're gonna go Christmas. And Christmas 2024 is the actual title I'm writing in. So it was 7 from the middle. And again, might be a pet peeve of some, but I'm gonna do that as a lowercase c for continuity. Well, C shouldn't be too hard to do uppercase. I'm a liar. I'm gonna go ahead and do an uppercase C. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, goodness. Okay. Uppercase C. Going for it. All right. And then R, I, S, T. The M's are hard to fit. Did I meet my mark? Yes, the M was the one right before the middle. I feel like that one sloped down a little bit, but that's okay. So Christmas, space, and then I don't have a fancy letter, or sorry, I don't have a fancy number font. So I just write my numbers like how I write the rest of my numbers. That way I know that this isn't, you know, if I'm flipping through, this is specifically for Christmas this year. Okay. Now, like I said, I'll just keep this blank the whole time. But it is a little boring to just have the words at the top. I actually do like how they came out. Last time in my other journal, I used not a really thick pen, but in comparison, I used a 0.7 pen in my last journal. And some of the little areas, especially, this is a good word for an example, like in the word recurring, where you have the spaces like the little loop in the R and the E, like have a couple little tiny spaces. The bigger pen made it all bleed together, which is fine, but I'd rather it not. So I'm gonna bring my iPad into frame and I'm gonna start to pick some borders. So this is just on Pinterest. Again, like I said, very wary of putting things on the internet that's personal, so I just made a separate Pinterest for this channel, and I have a couple different ones, but for this I'm going to go to my bullet journal headings, and I have 14 pins, it says, and some of them are seasonal, like this one. I'd love to do those, but I would probably do those more so in like a weekly plan. I'm gonna go more for something like maybe these, or there's one that I used before, like one of these. So they're very simple, but they do add some, you know, a little more interest on the page, helps to separate them out. Like that one, just the X's and O's are so easy, and quite honestly, I know that that's hugs and kisses, but also that's a very bullet journal thing. So I'll probably use the X's and O's. I'll probably do the little spiky, not spiky, all I can think is chevron, the chevron pattern. Let's see, that's more like a word header. I think that's the exact same thing. Clearly I liked them. See, these are a lot of word headers. Hang on. Here it is. And then doodle divider. I like the idea of the little boat. I'm not sure if that one would fit very well with any of my themes, though. That one seems more like, you know, summery. None of my things are very summery, so let's just pick. Let's see. I want to start with that top one, if you can see it. It has little clouds and a sunshine. So cloud, sunshine, cloud, sunshine. That's what we'll go for. So I'm just going to follow the middle line. So remember, I did my letters between 2 rows of boxes. That was intentional, so my border could follow the middle line that goes through it. So I'm going to do a cloud, and they're clouds. They have a flat bottom and then just a couple little puffs on the top. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do about 2 boxes wide, and then I'm going to fluff it like that. And then I'm just going to draw a little sun, and I do mine the 4 corners, or the 4 like compass directions, and then I fill it in. And then I think there's room for 1 more cloud, so it looks like it might be cloud, sun, cloud, and then I'll do the same on the other side. So let's draw a cloud. And then another cloud over here. And I'm going to try to do it the opposite direction over here. That way it's kind of pointing towards the middle. And then a sun. So I do north, south, east, west. And then I draw my little lines in towards the center. And then 1 more cloud. I have to take my time going the opposite direction. Okay, so there's my tasks. I like it. I think that's happy and fun. Okay, next one. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one's seasonal. Or not even seasonal, just more like doodles. Let's see. Okay, recurring tasks. I think I'm gonna go with this one. It's more of like a leaf, or like a little petal border. That one right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw a straight line, and I'm doing it on this one because I don't have as much that I'll have to do petals for. Okay, so again, following my center line, give myself an easy guide. I'm gonna turn the journal, and I'm just going to do little petals on it, kind of in a heart shape with each other. I'm gonna try to make them come back and kind of connect at the base, but if they don't get the whole way back to connecting, that's okay. Like that one, those ones are wide, chunky. Okay, and I'm gonna leave a little bit of stem room. Okay, and back this way, I'm gonna do the top. Again, this is so it's all pointing in towards those words. Trying to keep them uniform in width, but they're all going to be a little unique. Okay. So now we have our recurring tasks. So we have our clouds and suns, we have our little petals. So now we're on to personal and family. So there was one, it's not on this one, but I think I'm gonna make it up anyway, unless I find the when it had little tiny planets. It was similar to this idea. Okay, we are back. So I got distracted looking for a border to keep going, and I had scrolled down to see, and I just kept clicking, and I realized I spent a couple minutes looking at cute ones. I added 11 pins to the board. So this one, and specifically that circle, this big circle, little circle one is one that I like. It's pretty simple. And there was one that I have done before, very similar to these little planets. I'm gonna do a little planet with a dot in between. I like those as well. And then let me find it. See, totally distracted. Saw Christmas and it was over. The hearts with the circles I also like. So I like just the simple geometric, or just the shapes, not necessarily the doodles. So I'm gonna do the it was on what I showed you before. Okay, so I'm going to do the filled in circle with the open circle for personal, and then I'm going to use the heart with the open circle for family. So I'm gonna start filled in circle, open circle, and I'm gonna go one per box. So little filled in circle, a little bit of a bigger open circle, filled in circle, open circle. I guess you could call it a dot and a circle, and then a dot and a circle and a dot. Make this one a little bigger. Okay, and then in theory this should be the same, but I'm going to come from, let's see, coming from this side. Well, no, I just want to make sure that the one beside it is a dot. I think I technically, the L should have ended here, and so this should be a dot, but since I didn't do that, that's going to be a dot and a circle, a dot and a circle, a dot and a circle, a dot and a circle. And for continuity, I'm just going to do a dot over in the margin. That way it goes whole way across and it ends on the right pattern. I'm going to make these a little bit bigger because my first one was bigger and I kind of made them smaller as I went. So that's a little more continuous across the page. And then for family, I'm going to do the heart and then a circle. And I think I ended up doing the same thing. So I might stop here for this pattern, one box before, so I can start on the right repeat. So it's going to be a heart and a circle, a heart and a circle, heart, circle, heart, circle, heart. Okay, and I have to leave that one empty. Move that. So in theory, I should be able to go heart, circle, heart, circle, heart, circle, heart, circle, and heart. Okay, so 4 down, a couple more to go. Oh, there's what it looks like on that other page. I highlighted all the weekends just for my sake. So we have tasks, recurring tasks, personal, family. All right, YouTube. I actually like this one on here, the flowers with just the line in between. Bear with me as I draw flowers. I think I'm gonna make them a little bit bigger, and I think I'm gonna do the circle of the flower around a dot. And then I make all my petals connect, otherwise it doesn't look like a flower. And then we'll do a dash, and then the middle around a dot. I'm going to try to make these petals a little bigger. See, again, nothing fancy. And for this one, I'm actually going to come off of the word YouTube with a dash, and I make that a little longer, and I'll make this the middle of my flower, and we'll just draw the petals. And then we'll do one more dash, and we will do that as the center. And there's YouTube. I think this one needs to be a tiny bit longer. That works. Okay, now blog. Let's go to a different page. I might do my little planets. I love the planets down here. They're super easy, actually. They're just a circle and then a little line around them. And then they separate them with a little star. So I'm going to do my stars that I draw. So I'm just going to draw the circles and then line around. And that's how easy it is to make the little planets. Aren't they cute? And then I'm just drawing an actual like 5-point star. I'm not consistent with the diamonds. And then a 5-point star, and another planet. And I'm trying to alternate the way that the rings go around the planets. Okay, I'm going to start with a star on this side. Another star and another planet. Oops, that one's a little bit low. Maybe it's tilted on its side. And one more. And I'll try to mimic, or I guess, no, I guess it would be that way. Almost looks like that one has a cowboy hat. But YouTube, blog, trip we ignore. But there is one of these that has there it is. It's a little garland with stars. I don't know if you can tell. That just reminds me so much of my mom. We're gonna keep that up just so I can do it. Luckily, this one doesn't have a lot of side space, but the garland just kind of moves up and down, so it's a little squiggly. So I'm gonna draw a slightly squiggly line on each side. And then I'm gonna draw a couple squiggly lines hanging down. And I'm gonna try to alternate their lengths. And if I can get, one extra on one side, that would help add to the kind of the rustic idea. And then I'm going to actually, with this one in my other journal, I'm gonna wait till I get my colors out, and I'm gonna make the stars alternate red and green, and then these little dots, I'm gonna make them yellow. So I am gonna color all these, but this one I think in particular needs to be colored because I don't think layering green and red on top of a black pen would work. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull out my colors and then we'll color them in really quick together. Okay, I got out my colors. When I do things like this, I use zebra click art pens. They are literally markers and they click, and they have a key on their website of what number. Like this is a 3. If I remember correctly, that's just normal red. So I like to use these because they are quite fine, and they don't bleed through on the Scribbles That Matter paper, at least. So I'm gonna finish the Christmas one by doing little stars, hanging from the little star garland. And then I'll make the red start in the middle of that side. I'll use my dark green. I have lots of greens. Let me test this first. So I could do that green, or I can do this green. This is more of a deep green, and I like it, but I think it's going to be too close to black, so I'm going to use just the regular green. Okay. And then they have little dots all around it. I'm going to do those in gold. I'm just going to kind of put dots all up around the top, like glitter. And then a couple along each strand. So we're just gonna do lots of little dots on top of the garland, and then some along the strands. And so that is what the Christmas border looks like. See, I like that a lot better than going over the pen with the colored markers. And if I flip the page, it ghosts a little bit. I can see in person when the light's held up through the side or through the back. I can see it, but when the page is flat, I honestly can't see it all that much. So I'm gonna work backwards to get back to the beginning. My planets are gonna be purple and blue. And these stars, in my mind, these stars are in space, and it makes sense that they're black. So I'm just gonna color in the planets. And as a whole, something I like about the click art is it doesn't really smudge the color or the ink very much. Like it doesn't get smudgy. Now the yellow might a little bit more on these flowers. Because the middles are yellow. And then I'm gonna make all the petals pink. And then this is a decently bright pink, and I wanted it to be a brighter pink so you could see it instead of it just being smudgy. The click arts, you can buy them in a pack of 36, and really that's just 3 sets of 12, like 3 of their 12 collection, 3 of their 12 count collections. And so I was gifted that for Christmas several years ago, and the one collection is labeled as their light collection, and it had several pinks, so I had a lot of options. This one is just one of the more vibrant ones. If you're curious, it's number 17. But you can see as I went, it became a little more smudgy with the black. Not by much, but enough that I can tell in person. But it still looks like pink and yellow. Okay. Family. I'm going to use a couple different colors, and for these circles, I was going to use the green. I think I told myself green for this side, and these were going to be pink with yellow, kind of like the flowers actually, pink hearts with yellow circles. So but these hearts are little, so they're easy to color. You see, it doesn't take a lot of artistic knowledge or great technique to use these. Since they're not alcohol markers or anything, they're just felt tip. Oops, found a line. Oh well. The family's not perfect, but that's all right. I'm going to fill these in yellow. This one, they have a mint green and a leaf green and a regular green. This is number 12. Again, if you have them or are looking at them, that's what this one is. It's number 12. They all have names, but I like that. Just adds a little personality to each page. Okay. Then tasks and recurring tasks. This one's easy. Again, green for the petals. Actually, I just looked over at my collection. This one might be the leaf green, now that I'm thinking about it. Can you tell the difference? This one's a little lighter. I might use this one. In my head, I thought that was leaf green, but I don't know if it is now. This one's number 34. If you can see the number right there, 34. And so we'll just use that. Oh yeah, I like that better for the leaves. Over. Okay, so not too bright. And last one is the clouds and sunshine. So I'm actually going to use yellow and blue on here. Yellow to fill in the sun. And then blue, I'm going to make little lines in the bottom of each cloud, just to reflect the sky. And I'll do them opposite on this one. Okay. So let me clean up my area. I ended up with an iPad and markers and a pen. Let me get it all moved back over and we'll go over the finished product. Okay, so this is what we have. We have tasks with little clouds and sunshines, recurring tasks with our little vines of leaves. We have personal with dots and circles. We have family with hearts and circles. We have YouTube with flowers. And the more I look at it, I feel like the flowers need some green. So let's take green really quick. I'm just gonna underline the black line with green. Add some extra dimension. Okay. Anyway, YouTube and blog with planets and stars. Trip, again, we already went over that one. But Christmas, I think this one is my favorite, with the red and green star garland with the little golden glitter dots. And then it's all ready for me to set up my July page and keep planning. So I hope that this gave you some ideas, particularly if you're like me. You typically don't draw, you typically don't add embellishments, but you really like the idea. It really can be simple, and they really do not have to be perfect. They can be, true to your personality. They can be all different kinds. If you're interested, I'll go back to my main Pinterest page. I have a lot of my ideas, or not ideas, more so the inspiration, under my Pinterest, and it's Happy Pen and Paper is my actual Pinterest handle, but it's the same icon and banner as the YouTube channel. And I have doodles, calendars, months. I have phone wallpapers. I love a good phone wallpaper, but anyway, bullet journal inspo that doesn't quite fall under any of the other categories. And then the headings is what we used, trackers and weekly spreads. So really you can take people's ideas. I mean, here's things like fruit, cherries, Christmas. I just saw other, this one looks like washi tapes, or it's washi tape and people made it look like paint rollers. You can take ideas from Pinterest. I'm not trying to sell a journal. This is for my own use. If I see something that looks cute, I can try it. And if it's not perfect, that's okay, because it's just for me. I used to really struggle with that, and if you struggle with that too, I hope that you are, inspired to maybe try something new. I think you'll end up liking it. I would have never done this a couple years ago out of fear of it being imperfect. And you know what? These are pretty darn imperfect. But if they make me happy, they add a little bit of color and they make it more personal. Other people wouldn't draw a heart and write the letters like I do. I can tell I did it. I put time into it, and that's why I love doing the bullet journals. It's, it's what I wanted to do. So if you have any suggestions or feedback, please let me know. I tried talking a little bit more as I did things today. If you have any comments on that, let me know. If you prefer periods of the silence or periods of unbroken talking. And again, thank you so much if you are watching at this point in the video. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. And if you subscribed, I think last time I looked, it was 7. 7 people have subscribed, and that is so crazy to me. I'm so thankful for all 7 of you that decided to do that. I never thought I'd have one, so that touches my heart that y'all have gone and hit subscribe on this channel. So I'll leave you with that. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.